I'm here with Shane. What's your last name?
Basic.
And he's got a couple of trucks here. I'm going to pan the camera around and look at. And Shane's just going to give us some history and what we're looking at. So,
well, yeah.
Go ahead. Let's start with
the orange and white one here. It's a 67 white Freightliner. It was bought new by a guy, and it originally hauled for Willamette Industries and hauled paper rolls in Bellevue, Washington. So it's been a Washington truck its whole life. It's got a 4x4 transmission, married box, 250 naturally aspirated Cummins. You know, it's just a real clean survivor truck. It was sold in the late 70s. It was retired from the fleet, and it hauled apples up in the Yakima Valley area. And then eventually got sold to a buddy of mine in the 90s, and he had it until I bought it just a couple years ago. And he had it parked out in a grass field for many years, and it was all faded, the paint and the aluminum and all that, and I just polished her up and made her look good again. It's, you know, it's not restored, but it's preserved, and that's what I like. It's kind of got its patina and a lot of character. It tells you its story. Little single axle truck, 488 gear ratio on the rear end, so it don't go nowhere very fast, but it's, with all the gears you got, 16 speed between the two sticks, you can pull just about anything with it.
Is this a heater?
Yep, it's your little heater core. It's got one on each side.
No ACs back then.
The ACs up there, and those are considered those are actually the fans. They're considered the defrosters.
Oh, really?
You point them toward the windshield, and with the heat, you know, coming from these in the cab, it blows on the windshield, obviously, and defrosts them.
Oh, that's cool.
So, it's got old tachographs. That's your, what nowadays you call it e-log, but you put your little cards in there, and it'd graph out your stuff, so you couldn't cheat very well with them.
That's cool history.
Yeah.
Did you put the blankets?
Yeah,
such in it?
just to give it a retro look.
Yeah.
You know, the vinyl or whatever you want to call it, it's not in the best shape, so I was like, you know, that would cover it up until maybe one day I'll redo it. But I think the blanket gives it a nice touch.
I did two seat covers like that. I did my 61 and my son's 66.
Yeah. I don't know, it just adds cool flavor to it.
Yeah, I like it.
But it's kind of, like I said, a 250 naturally aspirated Cummins, you know, no turbo. It sounds real good. It has a really loud juke brake, especially having non-turbo. So, yeah, it's just a neat survivor truck.
Cool.
Rayovac frickin' Hunter flashlight, and it works still. So it's kind of cool.
See, it is cool.
And then I had to put a chrome fire in here. They don't call me Shiny for nothing.
Nope. Shiny Shane.
Shiny Shane.
That's cool. Yeah. This was Doug Hyatt's old truck.
Oh, yep. Yeah, Doug had it. He drove this thing in the 80s. And this one here is my other one. It's a 67 as well, but it's got the 8V71 Detroit and then a 13-speed transmission. Purchased brand new. One of the few trucks, I believe, that a U.S. bakery, Franz, bought brand new. They bought a lot of used trucks. And anyways, it hauled doubles and triples up and down the I-5 and all that. It's whole lot, well, till it was retired in around 91. I got a picture of it when it was still on the road in 1990. It was at the Biggs Junction truck stop. But this old girl took her out last night and won the diesel drags with her. So
that's cool.
She still runs like a top. She may not be pretty, but this one's my beater with a heater, I call her. The breadwinner.
Yeah.
That's the name, and it stuck up to its name and lived up to its name. and won the races last night for fun. Just a neat survivor truck too. I mean, it's just rough, but it tells you a story. That's all I can say about it.
I haven't found reverse yet. That's cool.
Yeah. I just got a thing for old cavalry trucks.
Yeah.
That's my thing. I've always, ever since I was a little kid, I just always wanted to have a truck. And in 2020, I bought my first truck, and it was a conventional Ford, little L9000. And then I finally worked my way into getting a cab over. When I sold that, it gave me enough money. So I paid like $1,500 for that truck and sold it for $6,000. So that gave me extra money to buy something a little bit better that I wanted. I sure did.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for doing this for me.
Yeah, thanks for interviewing me.
I'm gonna get a bunch of these trucks at least, videotape them. But I like doing the interview thing too because it's kind of fun to really hear about them.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of people that would be glad to do an interview with you.
Yeah.
So,
well, I might get more than just one.
Yeah. Well,
that'd be cool.
I could introduce you to some people
right on.
that will gladly talk about their truck.
Thanks, Shane.
Thank you.
Tell me your name again.
Sean Doolin.
Doolin?
Yep.
Tell me about your truck.
Well, it's a 1970 W923. It was originally a Z Brothers log truck, and they bought it brand new in December of '69, and it logged for them till about '91, I believe, when they started slowing down and they getting close to retiring. So it was one of the trucks they parked and robbed a few parts, and it sat out back for 10 years or so, and I bought it in 2000 or 2001.
Right on.
Then it sat in my backyard till about 2017 and grew blackberries over it again.
Yeah.
It sat there with the water out of the motor and the radiator unhooked, and we hooked it back up, put some water in it, let it sit for a while, and let everything soften up, and about a month later we got it running. Started driving it and replumbed all the air lines and all that stuff, and just been tinkering with it ever since. Found a sleeper, put the Flex Air ride on the back. It had walking beams on pads. It wasn't very fun to drive.
Okay.
Still has the 350 Cummins and the 5 and a 4 in it. Started out originally with a 318, but they ran that for several years that way, and it had a vibration, and that's why it says vibrator on the hood. That's what the old guys called it.
Okay.
And they never could figure it out. Kenworth engineers, Detroit engineers, they never could figure it out. So finally, after a while, they're like, well, all right, we'll just put a small cam in it like they did most of the rest. And that's the way it still is today.
Right on. How long did it take you guys to get here from Ferndale?
Oh, I don't know. It's a little over 4-hour drive.
Yeah.
4.5 hours, I suppose. We don't like the traffic and all that stuff, and the weather was a little questionable, so we came over Thursday night, stayed in Clay Elm at the cottage, and spent the night, got up, had a little bite to eat, and then came over here yesterday morning. It made it a little nice. It's only an hour and a half drive then. Putzed around, went to meet the old guy at the CD shop downtown, and chatted with him for a while, and I wanted to get my radio tuned, and he handed me the meter and taught me how to do it. So
Cool.
that's pretty cool.
Cool.
Got to learn this stuff from the old guys before it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's just trying to remember everything you learn. But it's neat where the old guys pass it along, and you try to remember as much as you can, because nobody knows how to work on a lot of the old stuff anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Keeping them alive, keeping everything
Yeah,
alive.
learn what you can and try to remember. That's the hard part, trying to remember.
A little before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's come a long ways. You did a lot of work. Looks good.
You can't have it without good friends and bartering, trading, and elbow grease.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, you can't afford it, right?
Yeah.
Some people can, but you know,
Yeah, it's a cool truck.
when you get the help of friends and trading parts and elbow grease and stuff like that, it makes it all possible. And then kind of fun, kind of frustrating, but we meet great people along the ways, and that's how some of my best friends today, it's just from trucks. And hey, I know this guy, and and the next thing you know, you meet that guy and get a part from him, then you're friends for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, you meet a lot of friends doing this stuff. You meet a lot of great people.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
That's kind of what I'm doing right now.
Heck yeah.
Man, I had a great time videotaping all those trucks and going to that show. Thanks, Keith, for going with me and carrying around my GoPro batteries and such. I appreciate it. Thanks again to Shane and Sean for allowing me to interview and telling us about your trucks. That show was awesome. The trucks were great. I really enjoyed videotaping that show and walking around and checking out all the trucks. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and comment if you've got another show that you can think of that you'd like me to maybe video and check out. Get a comment on this video and let me know about that one. Consider subscribing, really helps me out. Share it, like it, all that jazz. I appreciate it. So until next time, have a blessed week and remember that Jesus loves you. Thanks for watching.